Hi, I am Sonali, your design faculty, and welcome back to our 71-day course for CEED examination. And today we are at day 34, which is exploring 2D and 3D elevations and forms. Okay, so before starting this session, I would like to say this one thing, that this session brought to you by KP Classes consists of 71 days, in which day 1 to day 30 is being taken by our esteemed faculties for your part A, and day 31 to day 71 is being taken by me, which is your sketching and design courses. Okay. So, before starting this lecture, before starting to watch this lecture, I would like to suggest that you should watch all the sections, all the videos before this, so that you can get a gist of this one. Okay. Because in each and every section, in each and every video, I am discussing a lot of portions about CEED examinations, in which I'm going to give you different tricks and how to crack CEED examination very easily and efficiently. Okay. So, for today, which is your day 34, in which we will learn everything about 2D to 3D shapes and their elevation. So, of course, we all know how to make 2D shapes, right? Whenever I talk about 2D shapes, let's get into a little technicality of it. Okay. So, basically, what is a 2D shape? Okay. As the name suggests, it is two-dimensional, right? So, if I draw a square, okay, so this is our 2D shape, right? Why do we consider this as a 2D shape, two-dimensional shape? Because this has your length and your width, right? And width, right? So, in a nutshell, whenever we want to convert any 2D shape into a 3D shape, what do we add? We add height, right? We have all learned about this length, width, and height in our schools, right? So, a 3D shape consists of these three things. Okay. So, whenever I'm talking about elevation or whenever it comes to drawing a 3D shape, what else do we add in this? Yes, your mass and volume, right? And this is your basic knowledge, right? Whenever object is converted into a 3D format, what it consists? It consists a third dimension, right? Which means mass and volume consecutively, right? In the meantime, how will we depict this portion, mass and volume, in any 3D format is pyrography. Okay. So, first, the name feels a little heavy, right? I will sort it down for you. Basically, what is pyrography? We will discuss about pyrography in a wider aspect. Okay, we have a separate session for pyrography. You can go and check that as well. Before that, in this one, I'm gonna teach you just a little bit of it. Okay, how can you add these mass and volume using pyrography? What is pyrography? Pyrography is the study of light, shade, and shadows. Okay. So, basically, we only have a plain 2D surface, right? And we have to depict a 3D object on this plain 2D surface. So, in order to do that, in order to show a proper mass and volume and height in an object, what do we use? We use shadows, okay, in order to make an illusion, to make a 2D figure look like a 3D one, right? So, for this aspect, what else will we add in here? This is your 2D shape, right? This is your length and width only. Okay. So, in order to see any kind of 3D object, what do we have to do? We have to see it, we have to look at it from a different angle, right? From here, this is just a 2D object, right? So, whenever I'm talking about 3D object, whenever I have to depict this 2D object into a 3D one, I will change its location a little. Okay, you can see it in this camera, or you can see in this one as well. Okay, I'm changing the location of it, changing the angle of it, so that I can see the third side of it as well, right? So this is the only thing we are doing in an illusion format as well. Okay, so we are gonna add. So this is the figure we have right now. Okay, this one. So we're going to just rotate it a little, change the angle so that we can have these two angles as well, right? So I'm just going to add this line here. Okay. Right. Now, to enhance this figure, to enhance any figure, if you look at this, the shade, this overall is a single shade of red, right? But if I'm changing the angle of it, due to the sciography, due to the study of light shades and shadows, what happens, the shadow on top and the side of it, side of the cube, changes, right? In the camera, you can see as well how this looks like a little darker as compared to this one. Okay. This is the only figure we have to depict. Okay. So what are we gonna do in order to depict this? We are gonna add shadows into it, right? So this is our figure. I'm just gonna use a star and just gonna shape this area in order to make it more and more 3D in nature. Okay. So that we can depict the concept of mass and volume in a particular figure. Okay. So, because this is a rough figure, let's dive into it into a wider aspect where we can draw a shape perfectly. First, in order to make any object in this world, okay, any object, or I will teach you this in each and every topic, in each and every video. I will repeat this, that everything on this planet consists of different basic shapes, right? Even if there's a human figure, they have a different shaping into it, right? I have a croquis over here. Okay, so you can see croquis is a basic form, okay, basic bodies in which we can see a human body and we can observe different shapings and figures of it. Okay. But even this one is made out of a lot of basic shapes, right? A lot of 3D shapes, right? This is kind of oval and a sphere and two cylinders, So, so just like this one, each and every object is made out of either a 2D shape, either a 3D shape. Okay. So I'm gonna teach you in this session how to catch that basic shape so that we can develop it and make it more and more realistic. Okay. Make it more and more detailed in order to represent it. Okay. So let's start with this one little thing here in the first go. So let's start with a sphere. Okay. So of course I am sure that all of us can draw a sphere, right? So for this as well, let's look at this 3D object. Okay. I'm drawing the base in the first row. What I'm drawing here is this arm, right? So that we can see a top as well, we can see the sides as well. I'm gonna shade it a little so that we can make it a little 3D, right? So this is your first figure in which we're gonna draw a cylinder. This simply, right? And for the bottom as well, we're gonna give same kind of curve. Right? So this is your base cylindrical shape, right? So this is your first activity. Okay. In order to convert, in order to enhance your ability to draw any 3D object, what you have to do is to take any 2D shape. Okay, just for basic shape, nothing else. I know it will seem a little childish to you for your level of drawing. You will feel like, okay, I can make this very easy. But do practice it. Okay, so this is your first activity where you are going to convert any 2D shape into a 3D one. Okay, take a square, convert it into a cube. Okay, take a rectangle, convert it into a cuboid. Okay, take a circle and convert it into a square. So this is your first activity. Why am I saying this? So that we can develop this first activity into the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Okay. So today we are gonna do a lot of activities. We are gonna keep this class very less pressurizing. There are not a lot of rules, terms, and technologies. Okay. All you have to do is to imagine, is to observe any object around you. Okay. So that you can make a proper 3D format out of that. Okay. So this is your first shape. Okay. Okay, first activity. in which this is the first angle of it. Right? Now, just imagine, I have this sphere, right? You can do this by imagination as well. You can do this by any basic object around you as well. Okay. So now convert this into at least 2 to 3 angles. Okay, and draw that. For example, draw this one in the first one. Okay. Now let's draw it in this angle. Okay. Where we can see the top, where we can see the side, and of course, base is in the background. Okay. So let's draw this one over here. Drawing it a little smaller. Right? The side view. Now I'm gonna rotate it at least 45 degrees. Okay? So it will look somewhat like this. Right? I'm gonna draw this one as well. In the first activity, all you have to do is just to take one single shape and draw different angles of it on a piece of paper. So this is a 45-degree view for cylinder. Just go freehand with this. Okay, do not use any kind of scales or any other type of tools in order to make these shapes. Okay, this is for your old practice. And if we are struggling with making the straight lines or the curved lines, okay, try to draw disappearing lines, what we have discussed in the first 3 sessions. Okay, if you are still struggling with your line quality, your wrist control, do watch that video, practice again and again. Okay, before even making this, you can just take a piece of paper and practice your line quality in that. Try a lot of disappearing lines so that when we come to this, you will be able to draw a straighter line. Okay. In fact, there is not any, particularity in the books that you can make a straight line right away. So you can make a little bit of repeated lines, okay, like how I am even making repeated lines, but you have to take control of your wrist that even if your lines are repeated, your lines are not that deep inside your paper that you cannot erase them, right? Make it very, very lighter. For that as well, I have told you a hack, okay, where we can take a mechanical pencil, we can increase the lip at least 1 centimeter out of the pencil. You will draw with this one. Okay. So basically, somewhat like this. Right. What this will do, this will make you have a control over your wrist, over your, deepening of the pencil on the paper so that we can not indent paper to that extent, because as I have said in the first 2 sessions, the paper quality you're going to get during the examination is somewhat similar to your printing paper quality, what I'm drawing on right now. Okay. So for your daily practices as well, you can use this kind of paper so that you'll be habitual of the GSM quality of it, right? Just so that you won't make a mistake during the examination that you are, if you are practicing on a drawing paper, which is much of a thicker quality, much of a higher GSM quality, you will be habitual to that, and during the examination you might feel that your paper is indenting or you're erasing continuously, etc. So this is my personal suggestion that you should practice regularly on this one so that you can get a grip of what kind of a quality of a paper you will get. Okay. Okay, getting back to this thing. So this is my third view. Okay. And I will just leave it to this one. Okay, because we are going to build this shape now. Okay, so this was your first activity where we are converting any 2D shape into a 3D one. Okay. Or you are drawing a 3D shape directly. Okay, because we all know how to make a 2D shape, right? And 2D shapes are not being a lot, used a lot in your examination for a specific field. Okay. So what you're gonna do is to practice 3D shapes more. Okay, you're gonna imagine 3D shapes more and practice those more so that you can convert it into different objects. Okay. So this was your first one. Okay. Now just imagine. Just get a little idea of it. If there is a cylinder, okay, what are all the objects around us? Okay, your daily life objects, your daily use objects around us, which are made out of a cylindrical shape. Okay, whose basic shape is cylindrical. Okay. So what is the first thing which pops up in your head? Okay. maybe a glass of water, right? A glass, basically, maybe a cup of coffee, right? So I can see a cup, okay, over here around me. Okay. So let's try to make this one in the first go. Okay. So first we have a cylinder here. That will be very easy to just add a handle to it, right? So this is the basic shape of the cup, right? The cylinder is the basic shape of that. Okay. So before drawing any object, before drawing any procedure video or procedure sketch, always take out the basic shape of it. Okay? So, taking inspiration from this cup, now imagine you have to make this cup only from different angles. Okay? So, this is the first one, the first angle, what we saw, which is like this one, right? So, we have to make the handle out of that, right? Okay. It has a round handle, somewhat like this. Okay. So this activity leading to your second activity, okay, which is your exercise 2, right? Right? The first one. Now for this one, a little rotated portion, right? Here I'm making the handle a little behind, okay, the paper itself. Okay. Now for the third one, where the handle be, okay, taking inspiration. Now imagine if my cup was like here, okay, and it will look somewhat like this, either or this. Okay, I'm gonna take this angle. Okay, we show it in the camera as well, like here. Okay, where the cup is rotated this way. Okay, so that you can see a little curve over here, the empty shape, the empty area, right? And we will make the handle in the upward direction. Okay, just try to explore more, try to get a little, complicated angles out of that. Okay. Of course, we have to focus on the presentation in the first go, okay, because eventually whatever object you are making, the first sight of it should be aesthetically pleasing, right? Yes. There are technicalities, there are of course specifications whenever we talk about design industry, but the first goal is to make it aesthetically pleasing. Yes. So of course, if you are someone who can draw well, then why not present it like that, right? Just like food. If you are someone who can cook very well, then why not present it? Why not plate it, right? So again, getting back to this one, we're gonna take this angle, divide half over it, merging the same thing. Creating a little space between the object, between the two handles. Right? So, actually, this is what it will look like. Right? Now, erasing all the extra portions. See, all of my lines are also repeated in nature, okay, because of course you cannot just decide and go with the first line, which is, very, very perfect with your angle and system. No, that is unrealistic expectation for any human being. Right. So, this is why we will be making a lot of repeated lines, but we will try our best not to make it so deep that we can not erase it later. Okay. This is our first goal, to make lines that lighter. Okay, even if it's repeated, it's fine, it's okay, it's completely common, normal. But we have to take this into our consideration that it should not be very, very indented. It should be very, very disappearing in nature. Okay. Okay. So this is your first step towards your basic object, right? At least make 3 to 4 angles for it. At least make different directions of it. If there are a lot of features, if there are a lot of things, try to make in angles, different angles, which is show off each and every feature of your object. Okay? So now just imagine if there was a question that you have to make a daily life object around you. Okay, but in a futuristic manner, but in a manner that you have to advance it a little, or you are being inspired from something or the other. Okay, so how will you approach that? Okay, so this is your base. Number one, first step is each and every question solving manner is do not panic, plan your object nicely. Okay. Even if you feel like you're very short on time, just try to make the base in the first place. Once you make the base, doing everything else, adding different detailings to it is way easier, right? So just imagine if I tell you right now to make this cup inspired by uh, say dolphins, sea, ocean, just example, right? So how hard it will be? Because you already have a cup now, right? So in the first go, number one, do not panic. Plan your object. Okay, decide what object do you want to make. Okay. Number two, make that object, make the base. Okay, it needs 3 to 4 different angles for it. Okay. Number three, then decide, and then of course, if you have decided, then go ahead. And if you have not decided, you decide to approach with your sketch. Furthermore, of course, make the base a little lighter so that you can add different kind of changes in that. Okay, your more conventional design to it. Right. So now, for example, your third exercise in this format only is to add a theme into it. Okay. So, as I just said, let's add, ocean, right? So, for ocean, let's say, number one, what is the first idea which pops up in your head? Okay, we can add a print on the cup, right? For example, if this was for KT classes, right? This was the logo, right? Now imagine I am telling you to design a different logo or design the same logo in a oceanic, it's taking inspiration from oceanic objects or, the water itself, the waves itself, or the creatures inside the ocean. Okay, just imagine that. Okay, so now you have to design it accordingly, right? So we will take the base again, the basic logo of it, right? So let's add basic logo here. Okay. So this is my logo. Okay. So again, number one, plan your ideation. Okay, how will I approach this whole logo? How will I incorporate this whole logo on my car? Right? So before doing that, let's design the logo in the first one. Right? So let's do it. So our major goal is not to change the logo here. Okay, just to add more features into it. Okay, so that we can make it aesthetically more and more pleasing. Right? So after making this logo, what will we do? course, as you know already, that CEED and UCEED examinations do not allow any kind of colors. Okay, so this is a little more challenging for you because you cannot use different color schemes or color stories in order to make your design more effective. Okay, you just have one color, which is your graphite, right? So what will we do? We will focus on the design, we will focus on the shading, we will focus on the shadows. Okay, I will be more clear about what kind of texture we can use, okay, in order to enhance our sketch. Okay, so number one, this is your logo, this is your base again. Okay, so for each and every design in this entire world, the first step should be to make a base, right? So in order to do that, in order to make any kind of base, what will you do? You will try to find the shape for it. Okay, so perfect, exactly, shape for it. Okay. Right now, I'm talking about a cup, but if I just show you one other example before moving forward with this. Now imagine we have, okay, let's avoid the shapes. Let's get something which is little different comparatively. Okay, just imagine this painting brush, right? So what is the shape for it? What is the basic shape? Of course, for a cup, the shape was very simple, which is your cylinder. But a brush is consisting of at least 2 to 3 shapes, combining those, molding those, rotating those, right? So in order to do that, we will again take the same example. Okay, number one, this is a long, elongated cylindrical shape, right? So we will make the shape, right? In the first go, right? This is your cylinder. Right. Number two, this is also a cylindrical shape which is flattened by the end. Okay. But again, taking the same shape. Okay. So now imagine, okay, we have a cylinder. If I squeeze this cylinder from here, okay, and just, make it a little, elongated. Okay. So what will we get? We will get somewhat this kind of a shape, right? That it will be broader from the end where I squeeze the cylinder, right? So similarly, we will just imagine the shape in our head. Okay, in the first go, you can take inspiration from your live objects in the first go, first whenever you're practicing, but later on, you keep your observational power that much. Imagine if I am making a painting brush. Okay, what are the features of it? What is the basic shaping of it? How will I mold it in my mind so that I can draw it properly? Right? So this is molding only, right? That this is aluminum and they have just squashed it so that the brush can fit. This is a logical reason for it, right? So similarly, if whenever we are squeezing the cylindrical shape, it will be somewhat like this, right? And then only the the brush will hold the hair, the end of the tip here in the cylinder, right? That is the only logical and possible reason for a flat brush. For the rounder one, the front portion will not be, squeezed in, right? It will just be a round shape only, right? So of course it depends on what kind of brush you want to make. So for the shape of the brush, to the front portion, what is this? This is also some kind of cuboid, right? Of course, the texture is different, and due to the different texture, we can see the shape being different. But basic shape, what is the basic shape for it? It is the cuboid only, right? Little get into it, right? So then only if I get the basic shaping of the overall object, what will I do? I will add more details and features into it, right? So in order to do that, I will simply take, inspirations from here. I will add different textures. We have whole separate class for different types of textures as well. I will teach you in that how to make, how to depict, how to shade different objects in order to make it in a particular texture, right? So now this is done, right? So what will I do? by adding more and more features into it. I will squeeze the bottom as well as it is here. Okay. Okay. And then of course in order to add more depth, more mass and more volume to this whole object, what will we do? We will add more shadow to it. Okay, so of course you can see the difference in both the materials in the brush. Okay, the lower part is wooden, the middle part is aluminum, the top part is basically hair, right? So I'm gonna make different texture accordingly. Okay, of course do not panic, do not overthink about this. We have a separate whole class for your texture drawing only. Okay, you will learn how to make different kind of textures in here. Okay, I'm gonna overdo this right now so that we can jump back to our initial one. Just adding a little shade to it. As I always suggest, this is your tool, this is your go-to-go tool. Always use this, no matter at what topic you are, no matter on what level you are, do always use this stamp. Okay, and do not change your stamp overnight before the examination. Never do that. The older the stamp is, better it will work. Okay, it contains, this is basically paper. It contains a lot of pigment which we release from the pencil in daily basis, and eventually there will be a time you won't have to prepare some again and again, so that you can just use it directly. Like how I am using it right now, I'm not taking any pigmentation from any other pencil, any other shading. This is that old that it contains its own natural pigment, which is the best for each and every kind of shading. Number two, do not combine your stamps which are used for other materials, other kind of colors, be it soft pastels, be it charcoal, be it any other form to graphite. Okay, try to keep separation in that. And even if you are using the stamp for charcoal, then you can just prepare it, okay, before using it for graphite. What will it happen during that time? Graphite is very, very easy to erase with a normal eraser. But charcoal is not easily erasable, right? So during your shadow, during your shading, there might be a problem where you cannot erase that portion, right? If you are using the same term for your graphite, your pencil shading as well. Okay, so do keep these small things in mind before shading, and do keep this small thing specifically before your examination. Okay, do not do very small silly mistakes, because this can lead to a lot of confusion and chaos. Okay, very small lines can make a huge difference in your overall presentation and drawing. And during CEED examination specifically, of course, your presentation matters a lot. Okay, so here I am trying to create the texture of the brush. Okay, here I'm trying to make a proper object for you so that you can see how to make this object. Okay, we're of course doing it on a designing basis over here. Okay, where we are organizing, where we are solving kind of a question. Okay, hypothetically we are talking about how to design this cup into an advanced version of it, right? But here in this activity, I am telling you to make daily life objects. Okay, still nice drawing this is as well, right? So do try to practice this one a little as well, so that you can make all the other objects very neatly and cleanly, right? Because in the first go, do not take a lot of pressure on yourself of making an innovation out of any basic shape. Try to make the basic shapes around you, the basic objects around you, so that later on you can convert those, you can manipulate those, you can mold those into different kind of textures, different designs, right? And different printings, etc. Right? Because adding details is way easier than adding trying to make a 3D object right away, right? So what I'm suggesting here for any kind of 2D to 3D innovation, do go stepwise. Do not jump into the conclusion that I have to make the cup, I'll make it directly. Do not do that. Okay? Try to make the basic shape. In this way, what will happen? You will make the object perfectly according to your moldation, right? If I want to add any extra element into that, I will know my guidelines, right? So always make the guidelines, always make the 2D object, then make the 3D one, and then add more and more details to it. Okay? Do not jump to directly details because you will just mess it up without the guidelines. You will forget where the position is, and each and every object, okay, specifically for your physics examination, each and every object drawing question does not require you to meet only one angle. Okay, that is very, very beginner level kind of a sketching portion. Okay, whenever there is a question where you have to make an object, do always make at least 3 to 4 angles of it, at least 3 to 4 sides of it. If not the whole object itself, do not repeat it continuously. You can make half of the features of it, right? If I am to make a mobile phone, if I am to make a cell phone, I do not require to make all the angles of it on a repeated basis because of course you will not have that much time in your hand. But if I want to show some features of this phone on my sheet of paper, what will I do? I will make a close-up of this area, right? I will make a close-up of this area. So you can add these little objects, this little detailing, in the side, or you can arrange it in a way that will look very, very physical. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little bit how to do this in here, okay? And I will show you some of the examples as well. And in the next session, we are going to do more futuristic approach of the 3D and 2D elevation. Okay, and in the same time, we will be doing a lot of technical drawing as well. Yeah. So this is your base. Let's not jump into the next session. Okay, right away. So in the first course, number 1, make 2D shapes. Number 2, make 3D shapes out of that. Okay, the basic shapes. Number 3, add more and more details to it. Okay, like handles and more features to it. And number 4, solve a question out of it. Okay, make your own question, right, by your practice. And you can convert this into different objects, different themes, right? This is up to you, right? So, before jumping into this, let's get over our paintbrush, right? So, this is the texture I'm following, which is your hair texture here. Okay. Right. So this is the activity you can do, which is a still life drawing. If you are struggling with directly jumping towards something which is more innovative in nature in solving the question, do still life in the first go. Try to make the basic shape and then only add more and more details to it. Okay. So coming back to our initial exercise, okay, where we are to be inspired by ocean in order to recreate our KP classes logo. Okay. So of course we do not have colors, right? So this is the initial writing. We cannot change the basic logo as well, okay, as it is usually registered. Even in your examination, if such kind of question arises, do not state the initial shape, the initial lettering of the whole thing. Okay, of course you can remove some of the portion or add some of the portion, but do not change the basic calligraphy of it specifically. Okay, that will make you lose a lot of marks because that is a basic concept whenever we are designing something for someone. If it is given already in a particular typography, cannot change the font. Okay, so bring back to this, what I will love to make here. Okay, and adding some waves in the first go. right? Let's not complicate this a lot for ourselves because we have to make the same thing at least twice from different angles, from different directions, right? So try to keep it as simple as you can, but innovative for sure. Okay. Number two, I would love to make a pin over here. Right. Let's have a little leaves. Right? And I will be making some maybe coral reefs over here, right? Something like this. Let's add some little texture over here. Either making it a little glossy or making it a little transparent or something like that. Just again, keeping it as simple as we can and do not make too many details that will just remove the initial concept, the initial idea. Okay? We have to take care of this portion for sure that our initial design is way more visible. Now, after this, again, using some the other shading, if I am to shade this with the pencil, it will take me at least 10 minutes, right? And we cannot use our 10 minutes just for shading. Okay, we will be needing that time for so many other things, so many other explanations, so many other questions as well. So for this matter, always use a stump. It will just take 2 seconds, 2 minutes in order to shade a entire area comparing to a pencil itself, comparing to your finger itself, comparing to your, earbud a lot of people uses. Okay, so I will personally suggest always go for this one. Okay, this is way better than any other tool. Okay, adding little shade in the background as well, so that our letter will be highlighted. Like this. Right. Adding some extra portions to it. Extra detail, detailing. Right. So basically, number one, the first step, do not make the whole thing directly on the car. Okay. Do make it separately for your own sake and for being clear what do you want to do. Because a lot of times what happens, whenever I am trying to make a logo in a different manner inside the object itself, a lot of features get hidden, right? If there is this angle, I cannot show the whole logo directly, right? I have to make it in a way that only this portion is visible in the cup, only the C is visible in the cup, right? So in order to do that, in order to make the clarity, what I initially my idea is, we have to present it in a way, in a separate manner. Okay. If there is any element, any particular thing you want to discuss, make it separately so that attention will go there in the first go, so that it will be visible, it will be highlighted nice, right? So basically your focus area is very, very important whenever it comes to a question. Read the prompt, understand the prompt, try to understand what they're asking you to do, and do highlight the portions they're asking the most. Okay? Clarity matters a lot whenever it comes to your line quality or your drawing quality or your focus quality. Okay, you have to be determined about this one thing. What they're asking me, I have to make the whole sketch according to the focus area which is dedicated to that particular prompt. Okay, I cannot divert my whole drawing to somewhere else. That will just make you lose your marks, because the examiner will think that you are focusing more on some other thing that they have not asked. Okay, so we have to focus on the prompt always. So if my prompt was to redesign this logo on the base of ocean theme, okay, so I have to focus on the logo in the first go. So I am adding more and more details to this logo, right? And then only I will go back to my sketch. Okay, I'm solving this question in front of you here, as I am sure that with more practice and you'll be able to practice this, like making the 3D shape more and more. Okay. And of course, that will be way easier for you, being approaching for CEED examination. So do practice this in the first go. Do not jump to this procedure right away. Do practice your 2D to 3D elevation in the first go, and then only convert it into something else. Okay? Then only go and upload the question. Okay. Coming back here. Okay. Right. So this is my logo. Okay. Now I have to divide the area like here, the red portion basically. And of course, if we were to add color, we can add the shades of ocean like blues, greens, yellows into it, right? So that will be more apt to our theme, right? So in the first go, in this angle, in this area, just imagine how will it look, okay, and then only approach it accordingly, right? So from this angle, I am seeing only half of this logo. So of course, make the guideline for it in the first go. Somewhat like this. I know my area is divided from here to here. Of course, this is a square. Always remember, take these two lines parallelly, right? Whenever there is a logo design or whenever there is any kind of designing happening. So always go for your upper line guideline and the lower line guideline, right? Okay, so what I'm doing right now is to add more and more details into it. Okay, entirely this is dedicated to the details portion. Okay, the third part, the third portion of the exercise. Okay, do not skip the first and the second part. Okay, this one and this one, and jump to the third one. It will be very, very messy and hard for you comparatively. Okay, do do make this logically, do make it in a procedure way, at least for once, and of course later on you will just find your own ways. You just understand how to make this in the first go, then it's up to you. You can make according to yourself. But in the initial practice session, do it in a procedure, in a proper way, what I'm teaching you here. Okay. Do pause this video in the middle while you're doing an exercise and replay. Okay, do not watch it in the first go and you will be overwhelmed. Okay, because of course this is a recorded session. I cannot pause it for you and wait so that you can complete the exercise right away. But this is up to you, that you have to pause this and you have to make the exercise in the first go and only then approach for them. Okay. Do practice with me, do draw with me, you will get entire gist of what I'm trying to say. You will understand and you can see as well what kind of a technique I am using. Where is my wrist? How am I holding the pencil? Where am I holding the pencil? What kind of a pressure I'm applying? You will not until unless you're drawing this. Okay. So okay, this is the angle I'm getting. Okay. What I'm doing here is to set up frame, right, for my logo here, right? So this is the first one, जहाँ पे basically we are having the logo right in front of us. Okay, the entire logo will be visible and detailed in this frame the most. Okay, so basically here we have made the logo in the frontal view, in a 2D format, right? I'm gonna rotate it, I'm gonna curve it a little so that I can fit it into a cylindrical shape. Okay, so I have to depict the curving of it so that it looks more and more real to my invigilator and me as, right? So now, along with this, okay, my logo have decided, I've decided this one, right? So there can be more things as well. If we are designing a cup entirely, it should not be just about my logo only, right? If there is this prompt that you have to make it just the logo, you have to change that, then it's fine. But just hypothetically, we are talking about this question, so we can mold it according to us, right? So over here, what I'll do, I would love to do, is to change the handle as well. Okay, not much. I will keep it basic and simple only according to the client, right? What now? Who is my client? Is this uh, KP classes, right? It's a coaching center. So for them, will not make it very, very way more complicated or anything. I'll make it as simple as I can. Adding just little details into it. Right. Over here, I've changed the handle. Okay. Over here as well, here as well, I will do the same. Okay. So this is my initial idea. Now I can change furthermore into this, right? So again, I'm repeating this. This is not in the first row. This is at least the fourth portion of it. Okay. The fourth one, what I am doing is adding more different features into it according to my time limit, according to my understanding, right? In the first one, what we did, we converted a 2D shape into a 3D one. Okay. Number two, what we did, from the 3D shape, we have created at least different angles of it, right? In the third exercise, we have created a different outlook to it. We have created a design for the object. The fourth one, I'm molding the object entirely so that I can make it more innovative and add more and more details into it. Okay. And other than the object itself, we have to focus on this one thing, which is your overall presentation as well. Okay, so of course we are going to discuss that one in your next session. Okay, where we are exaggerating the whole portion where you can add different things, different slight little designs in order to enhance your overall page. Okay, so that it will look more and more aesthetically pleasing. Here, my design is done. Okay, I would like to add this one more little thing before I approach furthermore with this much of detail. Okay, why not making the cup a little more wavy, okay, a little more flowy in nature comparatively. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do is to add a very slight layer of, of little mild base, very smooth ones. Okay, and let's put the last one. Right. So this is my overall product. Okay. So this is all. Matlab, I do not want to go furthermore and add a lot of details to it because again, remember who your client is. Okay. There will be mentioned if there is any particular object drawing or logo, changing the logo or logo design into an object or something kind of a person. There will be very, very specifications who my client is. Always read the prompt before approaching the question. Okay, do not go overboard. Do not go a lot to another extent in order to explore, right? Do make it logically. Always make it logically. Try to understand what they're trying to communicate by manipulating the question. Okay. So after this, of course, what else do we have? The last first portion, which is to add this logo to our card. Okay. So before that, first that is a time-taking procedure. Before adding these three here, so I will show you the final result in our next session. Okay, which is your date 35, right? Where we are gonna furthermore discuss about your 3D elevations, and we are gonna innovate different ideations. We are gonna make different procedure drawings as well in that once we learn each and everything about your elevation. Okay. So number one, make your 3D objects around you, still life objects around you, so that you can understand this before jumping to the other one, which is your set drawing, your technical drawing, and your elevation in a futuristic manner. So for here, for this session, I will do one last thing, which is your overall a little shading, okay? Which is your adding mass and volume to your object. Yes. Okay, you can easily see how easily it's being smudged entirely. Okay, this is so smooth in nature. You can do it literally so quickly comparing to any other tool. Okay, and of course, this is an old stump. Prepare your stump before using it. I have shown how to prepare a stump in our shading video. Okay, I will do this again for sure in most of our sessions. Okay, whenever I have a little more time in my hand, I will do that. Okay, but if you are being confused about it, if you want to learn more about it, so do go back and watch the video. Okay. Okay, I will show you how am I shading this. Okay, adding this ceramic texture to my whole sketch. Okay, and adding the logo. I will show the final look in the next video. Okay, so if you want to see that, if you want to see a reference for it, you see the first portion of the next video. Okay, day 35 that is. Now adding all the corners, because I will teach you how to do this as well. Right now for each and every object, what is the first most focus is where the light is coming. Whenever we are shading, always remember where the light is coming from. Okay, if it's coming from the front view, of course, this area will be darker because that is hollow in nature. Okay, yes, I will show you this cup as well. Okay, you can see how this area is hollow. So here we're adding more shadows comparatively, right? In the front, of course, shadows will be way less. In the side, in order to give it a cylindrical look, cylindrical feel overall. shade side and the bottom of the whole figure in the first row. Okay, the inner sides of the handle. Okay, little bit of it from the outside, but leave the middle portion as it is. Okay, you can draw a fine, you can just erase the middle portion like this so that it will give you a 3D look. I've jumped directly to shading in this figures itself. Okay, we can see a little bit of you know shading in 3D figures. Okay, but of course, as we have already done a session for your shading technique. Okay, so you can go back and check that one if you're having any issues with any kind of shading techniques. Okay, how will we shade? How will we smudge the whole area? Okay, so you can check that one out if you're having issues in this portion. But of course, the, the practice only will make this better, right? Right. So this is, I've shown you this. Okay. So I've shown you this one cup, okay, where I've shaded it nicely properly. Of course, we'll add the logo into this. Okay, so I will show you the final result for this page on the next session. Okay, for this session, that's it. So do practice this before jumping to the next one. Okay, do practice all the basic 3D shapes and then only move forward. Okay, pause the video, practice with me, draw with me so that you can understand this control more and more clearly. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next.